this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, here for my weekly cross-stitching update. I was not able to film yesterday, even though I really wanted to. We had a plumber here working right during the window when I would have filmed, so I was like, well, probably shouldn't film right now, just in case. Smokey's here with me today, which is always fun. So let's get started. I have a lot to show because as I've said the past couple of videos, I'm playing Brain Go, so then I tend to switch my project every day as things get called, so that's always fun. We'll start with my temperature piece, and I'm doing temperature turtles this year, one of my designs. I have lots of temperature pieces in my shop. I also am already playing with designs for next year, as you do. I have one for sure that I want to work on, but I had another idea, so I keep playing. So here is my progress from yesterday, or from last week. This is 28 count Caribbean blue in Jobelin, I guess, by Witchelt, 1/1 full cross. My stitches are a little messy on this fabric because it's kind of a squishy fabric since it's been hand dyed. It's a little stretchy, and but it's all right. So when I'm done with the shells, there are some back stitching that's the same dark color as the rest of the turtle, so that you can distinguish a little bit more those patches. But they're all, there were some greens in there, and it was cold again yesterday, so I'm curious. We had rain all weekend, so it's kind of fluctuating on here, but it is getting a little bit warmer this week compared to before. It's not freezing overnight anymore, but you never know. And then my main travel stitching, I have really been enjoying. I'm working on Cats and Hearts January by Kitty and Me Designs. And I did a restart the week before. So this week I've been working on the new one, and I've made a lot more progress in the heart than I had before. The cat is still not as to the same point I had before, but I've been focusing more on the other stuff. Because I can. That was part of the problem I was having, which inspired the restart, is I never felt confident enough to work on the heart because there was too much counting, working over 2 in the car. I was never sure I was counting right, and anyways, it's working great now because I'm doing it now over 1. This is now where I am. This is just white 25 count even weave, 1/1 full cross, and so happy with this. Every new color makes it such a big difference. She picked 6 different tealy blues that are like such a smooth gradient. It looks very cool. So far there is almost 3 colors completed. There's this little section right here still is yet to have the 3rd color added, but the rest of them have 3 colors. And there's 3 more that are even darker, plus some back stitching that's in the darkest color. So I have a little bit more of the kitty cat. I'm doing the cat in 535. It's not quite as dark as it's showing up there, but I did like that it's a dark gray, because then it looks more silhouette-y like the intent was, when the intent is to do it in black, but I needed to match Smokey. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm working on that when I can in the car and whatnot. My kids have some orthodontist appointments this week, so that'll be fun. I can bring that along and get some more time. So I also worked on that a little bit during the week. On Sunday, I had some extra time, which I'll talk about in a minute. And I pulled that out for a little bit of regular stitching time at home as well, because I feel like I want to kind of get caught up from having done the restart. So I also worked a little bit on Castle Homecoming Club. This is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this is where the releases that have been out so far. There's one more that's whatever here is here in the sky that comes out on February 1st. So I did a little bit on this. Worked some more in the top border. So that's been a lot of fun. This is on 28 count, Ice Blue Lugana, 1/1 full cross with my own color conversion. So I was up here in the corner. I got pretty much all of these corner flowers finished. And then I'm now working on that thistle right here, which is right before another set of this ironwork. There is some backstitch in the blue flower, and I think there's some little greenery in here or something. So they have a little bit more right here, but like all of this is finished. So it's fun. I'm excited to keep working on that every week. Slow and steady wins the race. All right, and I also, oh yeah, I have a little bit of things that I've acquired this past week, but I'll like sprinkle them in throughout. So one I forgot to show is my frame I picked up at Michael's for my cats and hearts. So this is a 5x7. Now that I'm on 25 count, this will fit in a 4x6 opening, and I didn't want something with a huge frame. So this is a fun, it's not that common, but you can find them where it's a 5x7 frame with a little mat, a 4x6 mat. And so those should fit. If I cut it down, I think the top, I've cut the fabric to like 6 inches by almost 7. So I just need to trim down the top and the bottom once I'm done stitching, and I can just lay it flat in here like a photo, which I have done underneath the mat, and the mat will help hold it in as well. And I've done that on some Snowflower Diaries pieces that I switch out every month already. So I'm excited. That one, it has a 5x7 frame with a 3x5 mat because those are a little smaller. But this is fun. So I'm planning to put them in here right away as soon as they're done. And then I'll just switch them out as soon as I get the next one done, because I think that'll be fun to give me, to be able to enjoy them right away because they're so pretty. So I got that. I also got a frame for my secret stitch, which I'm hoping to pull out probably starting Sunday. I'll work on my secret stitch. Let's see, I also worked a little bit on my Shine Bright sampler, which is in the Bonnie Camille Quilt Bee book, but this is a cross stitch pattern that's in the back of the book. This is the new colorway that the Fat Quarter Shop put together with Ari Floss. And the colors, the Ari Floss colors are in one of the pictures in the floss pack on their website. So if you go there, I think, I'm not sure, there's probably an Ari Floss to DMC conversion somewhere if you wanted to do that, but I'm using the Ari Floss. And I did a little bit this week, not a whole lot. I think just once, but I figured, gotta show you. So here is this. This is on 40 count Morganite, 1/2 full crosses with the called for Ari Floss, which is a 6-stranded embroidery floss. It's all solid. And I'm really enjoying it. The colors are really soothing. And it's really fun. So I am working on February. I got the green finished. That's pretty much all I did this week. So coming up this coming week, I'm hoping to do a little bit more on the centers of those. Those 2 sections are for February. So I'm hoping to have them done by like the first week of February, somewhere in there, to stay a little ahead of the stitch along. And that's nice. So it's fun to work on that. It's going pretty well, so it's fun to pull it out when I have time to do like a length of thread here and there, but it's not so much stitching that I have to feel like I'd have to do it every day, because some days I don't have time, or I really want to put extra time on my main piece that day. And so far it's mostly been working okay to just give it the amount of time that I have been able to. I think we can move on to what I worked on. So I did my update video on Tuesday last week as well. So the rest of that day I worked on African Woman with Peonies. Oh yeah, so I will share my bingo board because that's what's determining what I work on each day. Got a lot of bingos. So we only have 3 days left, including today. So this is today's call. But this African Woman with Peonies got me my first bingo. Since then, I've had I think 3, yeah, 4. I have had 4 total bingos. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the one today will give me another 2, and then these ones will obviously give me even more. So we're at the home stretch. But it didn't take me forever to get my first bingo, so that's nice. So this first one, African Woman with Peonies, was something with music, and I always associate, you know, African people have great music. So I could just imagine her singing while she's putting her flowers together. And here is where I got to on this one. This is 25 count prim vintage cloth, 2/1 half stitches. And I have the top like 2 or 3 lines finished, but then I decided I'm going back through and finishing up 10 by 10 blocks, picking symbols in my 10 by 10 blocks. So now I'm up to there with the completed 10 by 10 squares. So I'm picking these symbols. Actually, I think I'm all the way up to here actually. This is the line, the 10 by 10 line. So I'm actually picking symbols in these irises which is fun. So you can see her hand outlined there, and I think some of this blue I still have on my needle. One of the dark blues that was in the flower is also in her scarf, headscarf. So next time I work on this, which I think is slotted for next Monday, I'll finish up that blue in her headscarf and then come back to this 10 by 10 square and keep picking symbols until that is filled up. And as I pick the symbols in the square, I just stitch it wherever it happens. And this is a fun one because it's not that large. It's a modest size chart. It's 250 by 196. So as far as full coverages go, not too bad. So it's fun that you can see stuff coming together like right away. I like that about this one. Then I worked on cat alphabet twice since I saw you last. This is my Whipco, one of my full coverage Whipco draws for January. So I had this on my Bringo board twice. This is by Irina Garmashova, and I'm working up here in just this top cat alphabet title block. And I'm going to finish the whole title block before I move on to A, and then I'll finish all of A before I move on to B and that kind of thing. So it's going to take me forever to finish this because this is a biggin. And because it's horizontally oriented, the roll of fabric is very long because I roll my fabric horizontally to work on it. So horizontally oriented designs always feel a little bigger than vertically oriented designs just because of the way the fabric roll is for me. But here is where I got to on this one. This is on 28 count ivory Lugana 1/1 full cross. And I'm doing the same 10 by 10 square typewriter method. Last time I worked on this, I had finished the top row of 10 by 10 squares. So now I get the fun job of jumping down to the second row of 10 by 10 squares and picking symbols in that row, which is fun because as I mentioned on my winter montage last week, a lot of the row is started. So I have less to do to fill in the space, which is fun. So I got a lot of this yellow and red done, and there's a lot of confetti in the C, but I think it's complete now up to like here, plus wherever the colors went as I picked them. So this is my Whipco block is complete for this one for the month of January because my Whipco goal is 2 days on each piece. So this got both days. The first day was 366 stitches. And the second day was 448 stitches for a total of 814, which is not, I feel like there's this like magic number of 1,000 stitches for a rotation, but full cross, full cross stitches projects tend to take a little bit longer than half cross projects. So 814 is good. I'm okay with that. And overall, this is at 1.48% complete. So there's still a lot to go. It's deceiving because it's like, oh, I'm making such great progress, but that's just on this little square. There's like all of this left to go, but it's fun. So that finished a Whipco square and 2 Bringo squares. Bringo is in the Magazine Monthly Challenge group on Facebook, and Whipco is run by Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on Instagram, YouTube, and Instagram, and at Facebook. I think she's everywhere. All right. Then I worked on Lollipop one more time. Oh yeah, the cat alphabet, one of them, the Bringo prompt was something related to school. So since it's got an alphabet, I figured that worked. And then the other one was something related to inspired by your pet, I think. So I have a cat. I've always had a cat throughout my life, and so that inspired that. This Lollipop one, why did I work on this one? Number 20, oh, something with a mode of transportation. So I figured the dragon was a mode of transportation. You can fly on it in some stories. So this is by Tilton Crafts. She's making friends with it by giving it a lollipop so that she can travel on it. So this is what I worked on. I'm working on this for my daughter, and I started it here in the month of December. And this is the second day I had planned to work on it here in January. So it came up. So this is the end of the rotation for January. I'm pretty happy with what I was able to do on this particular day. So this is where I got to. This is 40 count Vertil 1/1 half stitches. Still a lot of dark blues, but I got 771 half stitches on Thursday, which was wonderful, to make a total in January of 1,016, which is great. So my ideal is 1,000 stitches. And for my family pieces, it's not a given, but it's possible because they are half stitch projects. So if I'm not bogged down in confetti, it's possible to get that much over 2 days. So this is now at 0.9% complete. So it's not overall huge. On 40 count makes it look a lot smaller, but it is the largest of my kids pieces that I'm doing stitch count wise, but I have the longest to finish it. So there is that. So this one is going to be fun to be able to pull out 2 days every month and make good progress on that. So it's going away for January, but it will come back out in February for 2 more days. Then I worked my second rotation on Roses of Provence. This was called on Friday, and this second day on this gave me a Whipco completion on my non-full coverage Whipco board. I have 2 Whipco boards this year. This one was called, why was this one called on Bringo? Oh, Whip or New Start from your favorite designer. So I have a lot of favorite designers, but if you look at sheer numbers of things I have started, I would say Mirabilia or Heaven and Earth Designs are probably my favorites because I have a lot started on both of those designers. So I went with this one mainly because I needed another day on it and it fit. It's like, well, it's one of my favorites for sure. So here is where I got to on Roses of Provence. This is 32 count Stonehenge linen by Color and Cotton, and it's the prettiest fabric. It's nice to work on. I got all of her beads completed. You can see all the sparkle there. There's a lot of big beads in there. In her hair, not all the beads total, but all the beads in her hair are done now. And I got these flower beads. The particular beads that were called for in Roses of Provence are no longer made. They've been discontinued, so I picked some that were close to the bead colors of the other beads in her hair, and I think it looks just nice, pretty fine. I used invisible thread for those flowers, and I hated every second of it. I have not tried Nymo brand. I have some invisible thread that's, I think it's more of a sewing thread, and it's terrible. So that's why I tended to bead with DMC. But who knows, maybe someday I'll try Nymo, but for now I'm happy with DMC, so why buy something new? I did a little bit of, I did the beads in her straps as well for her dress, and then I started filling in skin. And there's a lot of skin. I am doing skin 2/2. I always do skin 2/2 unless it's charted otherwise, like on a Teresa Winsler. And it still takes forever, so I would never want to do 1/1 skin. It's like, ugh. It already takes too long. I like the other bits way better, and personally, I don't like the look. I know a lot of people do, of 1/1 skin. More power to you. That will not be me. I like it as charted, and it's just fine for me that way. So that was fun. That got its 2 days, and I have the WhipGo board. I think just those two. Yeah. So these are my WhipGo boards now. For January, the number 22s on both of them were the ones I finished first. Yeah, Cat Alphabet and Roses of Provence. So Halloween Fairy over here will be coming out this week. It's one of my last calls on my Bringo board, and then African Woman with Peonies will get one more day next week because it didn't really fit twice on my Bringo board. So I'm just going to fill it in at the end of the month. Cat Alphabet, I already did that. Sunday, I pulled my 4th day on the letter S Fairy by Nora Corbett on the Bringo board. This one was pulled for something that reminds me of home. This is hanging in my home. So it worked. And I had just these little tendrils down here at the bottom to finish. And since it was a Sunday, I had time to work on it. I finished it. I'm so excited. And it didn't take that long. So here is my finished letter S Fairy that I stitched for my niece. This is on the called for 32 count water lily linen 2/2 full cross. And I did these tendril bits and all the beading. And that was the day I finished this, and I still had more stitching time, so I worked on Cats and Hearts a little bit, put in a couple links of thread, and that was really fun to be able to work on that a little bit more. And this is now complete. So this was my focus piece for the month of January. And I have a list of things I'd like to finish throughout the year, and I'm gonna be slotting them in my focus spot every week. On a normal month, it will be Wednesday, Thursday, I believe, every week. During Bringo, it's been different, but that's the plan going forward on a normal month. So that's done now, so I can go to the next one on my list. I'm gonna choose my secret stitch, which you haven't seen, but I'll share as soon as it's done and gifted. I guess I'll do the rest of what I worked on yesterday, and then I'll go into plans and I'll share more. So yesterday the Bringo call was Tulip House. So I got a second day on this, which was my New Year, New Start for this year. You can find this on Cross Stitch Patterns on Etsy, and I misspelled this. She actually spells it with 1 T, all one word, and very pretty. So many pretty colors. So I'm really happy with the progress I got on this. I do have this in Pattern Keeper, so I was able to count my stitches, and I got 655 total stitches. Some of them were half stitches. So maybe with this you could see. Yeah, you can see the half stitches a little better. Those half stitches are pretty much the same color as my fabric. So I'm actually really happy about that they're the right shade to kind of blend in the sky. Splotches will just blend right into the fabric, which is great. I was hoping for that when I chose this fabric, that it wouldn't be too off. I could still stitch the sky without it looking out of place. So I think it'll be nice. So this is 32 count ice blue linen, 2/2 full cross, unless it calls for a half stitch, which is a 2-stranded half stitch. Smokey's over there causing trouble on my chair. I started filling in the color that I had been working on in the house, and it's not yet completed in the house. But then I decided I want to work up and do my typical top-down stitching method. So I chose this lightest color of the sky and kind of half stitched my way up to the top. So the technical first row of 10 by 10 blocks is done because it only went to there. The top like 8 rows were completely empty. So that's the top row of the 10 by 10 right there. So then now I'm going to the next row of 10 by 10, doing my typewriter sort of kind of within this flower is the next topmost thing. There's some sky too, but I wanted to work on the flower because it's fun. I'm kind of choosing top down, left to right within the flower. And since it's not super confetti, like a full coverage, you pick, there's only so many colors in the flower. You pick a color and it's like all over. So it was super fun to work on. Working from the top down like that, I believe I should be able to backstitch as I go because there's a lot of backstitching in this piece. So this is this flower right here. So I'll work on that flower and then, you know, fill in some more sky, and then I can touch these other flowers. And when this whole flower is done and probably a little bit of the stem started, then I can backstitch the flower, you know, so that'll be fun. I think, sadly, I think this is probably going to go away for the rest of the year. I don't have plans to pull out my new starts more than the 2 days they're given in the month I'm starting them. So we'll see. We'll see if I get any itches to pull things out more than they're planned to be pulled out, because that one's really fun. I liked that. That was fun to work on. So that was all I worked on. So going forward this week, I have 3 more Bringo calls to finish Bringo. So today I'm doing Visit Endor. It's a Bible study day, so I'm probably not going to get 1,000 stitches on Visit Endor like I did earlier in the month, but that's okay. Any little progress is good. And then I also have my second day on Halloween Fairy, which will get me a Whipco mark off as well, and then Winter Montage will get its 3rd day. I then am going to have another new start that's impromptu. If you watch a variety of people throughout Flosstube, you have probably heard of this flag, Quaker flag project, Stitch Along by the Vivsters on Etsy. Yeah, right here. Vivsters is her Etsy shop. She has a Quaker flag for every country that you could think of probably, and if she doesn't have it, she's making them. She's got like over one, like you go into the second page, if you just click on the country flag section, there's more than a page of the different color listings for the different countries. So it's pretty. I originally wasn't very tempted. I think Carolyn Flosstube Stitcher was the first one I heard talk about it, and Deb Wilson Stitches talked about it. Teresa Little Stitcher, she talked about it recently. I think oh, that's really pretty. Nah. What finally got me to just go get it, go buy it. They're starting it on the 26th, which is Friday. It's Australia Day. So I think some people have already started it earlier in the month, but there is a group of stitchers starting it on the 26th. And that's the day after Bringo ends. And I just finished my focus piece for January. And so I was planning to work on my focus piece again, starting on the 26th. So since I finished it, I have a little less pressure. I still can give this 2 days and 2 days to my secret stitch, which might get it finished because it's a very small secret stitch. So I thought, you know what, let's just do it. So I went and found 40 count Vintage Country Mocha, and some Victorian motto threads, which I think are the same colors I used on His Name is Jesus. It's Garden Rose and Blue Sampler by Victorian Motto, and then I'm just going to use Blanc and 939 for the other colors. So I'm going to start this on Friday with the Aussies, and any country's flag is there, and it was a very inexpensive pattern. It works in Pattern Keeper, so super excited about that. I'm excited. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, I get to start something on Friday. So I'm gonna work on that Friday and Saturday. Secret Stitch on Sunday and Monday, and then, which I'll probably come back on Monday to talk to you. That's the plan anyways. African Woman with Peonies will get its second day on Tuesday, and then Winter Montage will get its fourth day on Wednesday, and then we'll start a new month, which I am gonna have another start in February. So speaking of February, I will talk about it next week as well, because my plans will start in February, but there is going to be full coverage February again this year. Colette, the Highway Stitcher, is hosting that, and she is going to have posts here on YouTube, I believe vlog style posts of what she works on each day for the first 8 days, and then also over on Instagram, I believe, is some questions she's going to ask once a week that will be full coverage related, and there's giveaways associated with that. So if you follow her, Colette the Highway Stitcher, here on YouTube, and then I think it's Colette Stitcher on Instagram. And at first I wasn't really going to participate, but then I'm like, you know, I could probably do the acrostic with her. It's only 8 days. She's going to use the word confetti because most full coverage pieces have lots of confetti. And I have a new start planned with Carolyn Zook on the 1st. So I'm going to give that the 1st and the 2nd to get a good start on it. And then I'll start the confetti acrostic on the 3rd and work that through the end of that next week. I'm going to try to sneak in the rest of this, even though our gardeners are here. But I have my February, so I'm going to do my new start these first days, and then confetti fits real nice on this mainly this week. So then I can go back to my seasonal Sunday and then start in on my regular stuff that's not full coverage, and, you know, finish out everything else that I will fit, because I will have my 3 or 4 family pieces. I don't know, Simpsons might count as full coverage. I'll have to check with Colette if that counts. I'm not stitching the background, but it's technically a full coverage piece. And then I have my 2 Whipco pieces. So I'm not going to finish filling in my confetti letters until I get my Whipco calls, which will happen on Thursday, I think, on the 25th. So that's my plan. It'll be fun. So if you're interested, if you like full coverage, you know, consider joining us on that with that acrostic and with the questions over on Instagram, and just enjoy working on all these fun projects that we have. So I will leave you now, and I hope you have a fun week and happy stitching. Bye. I almost forgot because the gardeners came, but I got my back-ordered beads that I got for the Twisted Christmas Sampler, which I'll be starting in December, so that's fun. And then I got a pack of goodies from the Fat Quarter Shop, so I'll share those real quick. This is set S of the stitch cards. These are all snowy ones, which is really fun. Then the 12th Chicken Club, which is Henrietta. These are on their way to Laura over at I Stitch Birds, because if anybody needs funky chickens in their life, it is her. So I'm gonna send these to her, all 12 of them, because that's just perfect. Jolly Snowman, that's cute. January Snowman, so this looks like a new series that they're doing this year called Shelf Life. So this is the first one of that. That's pretty cute. This is the Hometown Neighborhood Tea House with a Jane Austen quote. There is nothing like staying at home for real comfort. That's cute, with the huge teacup on the roof. And then their first in their mini Simply Signs, this one says love. And this is an older number 6 of their larger Simply Signs, Fa La La, Christmassy one. And Stackables December, they've had this whole series, is ending now. And then these are some quilt patterns. This one's called Flirty. All of these, the same print with just a bunch of different colors. That's pretty fun. chevrons. And then this one, Sundrops and Starflowers. Same designer, looks like. Kim Dial or Deal. This one's pretty. I like all the little bits and bobs in that one. So that's fun. So I thought I would share those with you, and happy stitching. Bye.